Hi, this is Gary Chimes from Lake Washington Sports and Spine, and I want to discuss the aging curve that we typically see with athletes in terms of their overall level of athleticism and then also their performance. What we see in most sports is that most sports they peak in terms of their actual performance level at around age 27. So, for example, if you look at like baseball players and what season people have their best year, 27 is the most common year, with the window between 25 and 29 being the most common range for a peak season. This is true across most sports, whether it's Olympic sports or basketball or women's soccer. Now, if you were to do a measure of just like raw athleticism, something like working at an NBA combine or just looking at different metrics of things like jumping speed, flexibility, speed, power, the most common age for people to have their peak in terms of uh, raw physicality is around age 23. So why is there that difference? Well, if we think of like the bell curve of physicality, that's going to peak at 23 and then have a long tail distribution. What the green line representing here, though, is wisdom. So as people are starting to have a drop off in raw athleticism from 23 to 27, the gains in wisdom offset that difference. And so that's why people have peak raw athleticism at 23, but peak performance at 27. Now, what does this mean in terms of when I'm treating patients with musculoskeletal injuries? I think it's just framing expectations as part of it. A lot of people who are younger are used to, just by the virtue of working harder and being more consistent in their training, they expect to get performance gains all the way through. And that generally tends not to be true. For somebody like me who's in my late 40s, a lot of what I'm really trying to do is actually slow the rate of drop off rather than getting peak performance gains. I still do set personal bests periodically, but usually those are in things where I haven't had a lot of experience. And so when I'm getting new levels of peak performance in a task, it's because I'm gaining wisdom. So for example, I'm not somebody who grew up juggling balls on a regular basis, so it's a new task for me. So I can still set personal bests in that. But for something like swimming, which I've done for my whole life as a competitive swimmer, the likelihood of me setting a new all-time personal best is extraordinarily unlikely at this age. So I hope this is useful. This is Gary Chimes at Lake Washington Sports and Spine. Thanks.